Yo, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Shotgun Shogun, and today we're going to be ranting a little bit about the things that Smilegate actually tells us in the game and why we have to rely on community members in order to actually get us the information that we need to make good decisions in the game and a bunch of other things. But if you're new here, subscribe. If you like the video, you know what? I'm not going to ask you to subscribe right this second. Watch the video. If you like it, subscribe, comment down below. If you don't like it, put a dislike on. I don't care. No one else can see it. And whatever, man. Let me know in the comment section why you don't like it if you don't like it. But first off, what am I talking about, right? So one of the things that we typically wait for when a new patch comes out and a new character is the damage modifiers, right? Really, really important information for us as theory crafters, as, you know, as players of the game. This is something that is actually kind of important for us to make informed decisions on how we should build a unit, what kind of damage they can put out, scaling on things like shields, on heals, on a lot of information. And considering the complexity and the depth of character building in Epic 7, these are very, very important numbers to figure out. The fact that, Uberius Tooth and extra damage penetrates 70% of defense. There's a lot of other things, that are very important for us as players to know. And one of the things that kind of bugs me and has bugged me actually for a really, really long time is the fact that we have to rely on people data mining the game in order to know what these modifiers are. Now, if you take something like, who even take like, we'll pull up a unit real quick here. If my LD player would actually load up. But if we take, like, let's say APOC Ravi, right? We know that her abilities scale off of health, but if you didn't have things like mass damage calculator, you wouldn't know how much the scaling is on that versus somebody like Alencia who has better health scaling. Now, these two units, while both units scale off of health, one is more balanced in terms of needing a little bit of attack versus needing more HP, and Alencia is scaled to the point where you can completely forgo attack 100% and just focus on health and critical hit damage in order to get the most maximum output. Now, if you didn't have the math damage calculator, you wouldn't know this, because it wouldn't be available. It's not available in the game. And one of the things that I've always thought would be just a really good idea is having a section in here that just shows you the calculation. Now, would this be something that every single player would use? No, absolutely not. Would it be something that the vast majority of players would use? No, most likely not. But would it be something that would be helpful to people who are trying to be competitive? They're trying to min-max. They're trying to, really kind of figure out the best gear system, the best gear for the character without going, okay, well, I'm going to put him in this gear, and then I'm going to go into a mock, and then I'm going to test. Okay. Now I'm going to do this gear, and then I'm going to go into a mock room, and then I'm going to test. And then I'm going to put them in this gear, and then having to figure this stuff out. Now, we did this really early on in the game, where people would go through, and they would just modify their gear, modify what they were doing, and then just do baseline tests, and then be able to come out and go, okay, well, this is the number, this is the evasion, this is how much we evade. This, people knew that counterattack was more than 20% because, well, people went in and they tested 10,000 runs of counterattack. It's always been known that counterattack was not what was described in the thing. So having something like this to be available in the game would be phenomenal. Now, I'm not saying that this would completely negate, things that, that would come up. Like if we come over here, the damage calculator would still be typically required, because most people aren't going to do the whole math. If we went to, Apocalypse, Ravi, right? This kind of stuff, the math damage calculator would still be very, very important. But this would mean that, math wouldn't have to rely on data miners to scrape, the modifiers out in order to put this in here. And this could be updated a lot faster. Hell, I think that this should be integrated into the game. I think that fribbles should be introduced into the game. Honestly, after playing Lost Ark, I personally think that having something, I hate when LD player does this, I think that having something that shows you the max potential of a weapon, have the gear score in game. Like if you go to here, I'll pull up Lost Ark right now. Of course I'm playing it in the background. Like have a quality thing right here, like at the top. You know how this shows like 92 quality? That's because it's showing you what the quality is out of the bonus stat that it could potentially roll. I think that this is a great idea, because a lot of people can't do gear score in their head. And if they go, oh, I got one here, 100 quality. This is the max crit that ring is going to be able to roll. Now, granted, the random engravings are whatever. That's a whole separate thing. But having something like this in game as well would make it much, much easier on players in order to be able to determine what it is that they need to do, instead of relying on the community to build these tools. Smilegate, you're really, really good at taking other people's ideas, polishing it, and then putting them into your games, both in, Lost Ark as well as into Epic 7. So why don't you do this? Because right now, if nobody pulls out the modifiers for Hwayoung and Bad Cat Armin, math can't do what he's supposed to do, and we don't know how to optimize this unit. If you want your game to be competitive, you want the competitive people to have access to, being able to build the best units. This is just kind of a given, and I don't understand really why a lot of companies don't really put their information at the forefront, right? Giving people more information on the mechanics of your game. Why hide this? Why hide that evasion is additive instead of multiplicative? Why hide the amount of gear score that's on here? Like, you could even put in parentheses what the potential what the potential increase is. Having the modifiers and the damage on things will allow for a lot more information for the players. Now, I know, somebody might be like, but players, if they knew that, then they could complain about X, Y, and Z. They're going to complain about X, Y, and Z anyways. But realistically, like I said before, a lot of times having things like the modifiers on there, it's not going to help out your casual normal player. This isn't really geared towards that. A casual normal player is probably not going to go look up the math damage calculator either, because, well, they're casual and they really don't care. So there's that. But at the same time, what's the harm of having it in the game? The more information you have, the more that people don't have to just continuously run stuff. They don't have to figure it out. The community should not be figuring out the core mechanics of your game. It should be out there. Like, realistically, you should have, a disclaimer in there that evasion is additive instead of multiplicative. Because you run into issues where if you don't expressly put it into the game, how a mechanic works, then you have 500 people going, nah, dude, there was one time that a blind Rem I crit my Violet with Moonlight Dreamblade and his evasion was on, and it happens, dude. What even is elemental disadvantage when that literally can't happen? So having these things available, having more information, even just having like a detailed thing in game, this allows for more flexibility for players, because like I said, more information is never a bad thing than less information. Because right now I'm interested to figure out how hype I am about Hwayoung. I want to know what her modifiers are because, well, Smilegate doesn't tell us what kind of stats or anything like that in the video. So we only have that video to work off of, and the fact that she had like 16.6k HP, versus a Crimson Armin that we don't know what their gear was. So it's hard to make that informed decision without more information. So Smilegate, just do better. I don't understand why keeping modifiers a secret would even be beneficial. Realistically, anybody who would complain about modifiers probably doesn't know anything about modifiers in the first place. So, and it's going to get data mined at a certain point. It just depends on when the community ends up data mining that. Just embrace the data mine and just let people know. And then you don't have to worry about people data mining because it's already in the game. It's already there. We'll already know. And so that cuts down on any worries about data mining and stuff like that. But that's just my 2 cents on this. Let me know in the comment section what you think. And as soon as the numbers for Hwayoung come out, as soon as the numbers for Bad Cat Armin come out, I will be doing damage by the numbers. So there's that. So as soon as those come out, I'll be doing those videos. Like I said in the beginning, if you like this video, if you agree with it, subscribe. If you like it and you didn't agree with it, subscribe too. Let me know what you didn't really agree with in the comment section and we'll have a discussion. But anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Take it easy, homies. Peace.